I've been away. It's appreciated very
My
much,
pleasure,
mate. Mate, I took the kids to the zoo yesterday. Every time I take the kids to the zoo, the Tasmanian devil, he jumps out of his little thing and he jumps up on his cage and he almost waves at us. I always think of you when I see the Tasmanian devil, mate.
He's a good fella, isn't he? I thought I was going to be compared to an animal there, but yeah, I like the Tassie devils. They're good little fellas. Do they make a bad noise though when they're wandering around the place? Do you think all hell's going to be unleashed?
Yes, I believe that. Now, mate, technicals, mate. How are the technicals this week? How were they last week? How are they this week? What are you going to look at this week?
Yeah, look, interesting. The first thing I want to look at is, and I'm really sorry I couldn't get in the earlier session with Julian because of this particular scenario. This is Aussie yen that I'm looking at. And Aussie yen would be, if there's a currency pair, that would be an indicator of risk on, risk off. This would be that. So I take on board a couple of things that Julian said. And if he believes we're risk off, then I'm also in his camp. But the chart's not telling me that on this chart anyway. The chart's telling me this is ready to take off to the high side until this level here breaks. If this level here were to break, then everything changes.
What's the cool part?
Sorry, mate. Oh,
what's the level?
78.20.
So 78.20 is a key level on Aussie yen. Above that, you're bullish. Below that, a bit more concern.
Totally. However, the chart that threw up on Friday suggests to me that we're going to have another look at this level before we do go long. And that candle on Friday is very, very interesting. You can see that we have almost gone into trend short. And the fact that we've rejected that monthly pivot level twice in the previous 2 days trading, Wednesday and Thursday. But Friday, what you would expect with that bar is a bounce off the monthly pivot and probably go up to the next resistance level. That didn't happen. And on Thursday, it failed to do that. And again, on Friday, it failed to do that. More significantly, on Friday, closing below the monthly pivot and this previous low over here, or at least matching that previous low over here. That's where it becomes a little bit tricky. But I think that candle there is telling me that we're going to have another look at perhaps that level 78.20 before we go anywhere else. So I'm actually a bear on Aussie yen, and you'll be amazed to hear that fundamentally I think there's a backup for that. Aussie's got a bit of an issue at the moment, not least of which was another thing that Julian pointed out to us, and that was the halving of the iron ore price. Now, iron ore constitutes, I think it's somewhere between 15 and 17% of Australia's exports. It also commands a 3-point-something share of Australia's GDP, which is not insignificant. Therefore, a halving in an iron ore price is not going to make Aussie dollar investors jump out of their seats buying it, I don't believe. On top of that, you've got the Australian government announcing late last week that they have ditched a contract with the French to supply them with, I think it's 10 submarines or something. And that deal's been kind of ongoing for a couple of years, as I'm aware. That's just cost the Australian people some billions of dollars in forfeiture of the contract, which was cancelled, and also progress work to date. Now, I don't know that number in itself is significant, but what is significant is that both China and France have come out and really kicked the boot into the Australian government. This does not smell rosy to me for trade with the Eurozone and indeed with China, who are already got heavy sanctions on quite a few of Australia's products. So I take on board what Ash said earlier as well, that seasonally we're about to get a bounce in the Aussie. Gee whiz, I think that's going to be delayed. Anyway, sorry, that was more fundamentals than it is technicals, but I think it's worth considering what I've just said. So the charts that do bob up this week on my radar are dollar yen, because we do have a game changer bar. But then we've had probably 5 or 6 of those in the last few weeks. So I am staying out of this one. I think it's just too risky. EURCAD again, if we go back to the risk on, risk off scenario, you can probably read into it that the CAD is under pressure as well. I don't see why that's the case, given the numbers that are coming out of Canada, but I do note that we've got a Canadian federal election, and that's probably going to sway price a little bit here as well. So technically, I'm seeing downside for EURCAD because we've come off the top of this range and we've put in a lower high. I would expect further downside from a technical point of view, but I don't know that we're in a technical scenario at the moment on EURCAD. Two that I do think we are in a technical scenario on, pound yen and pound US dollar. Now, pound yen, again, comes onto my radar this week for two reasons. Number one is the weekly chart, or the weekly candle, sorry, from last week, which is very, very evidently bearish and strongly bearish, closed just about on its low. It also is giving the hint that, well, we've closed below the monthly pivot as well. It's giving me the hint that it's matched these two highs here and looks to be peeling off that. The next level looks to be down here. There's a bit of a confluence with trend line and horizontal level as well. So I think this is probably a good selling opportunity for us. Do I want to trade the bar? Look, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to trade the bar. Get your entry underneath there, stop loss either above here or above here. I think that would be wise. The daily charts suggesting that we've got a bit of a false break. Interestingly, similar to what I pointed out on Aussie yen, where this bar here would suggest that we were going to resistance level, didn't do it. And Friday's bar, once again, was very, very strongly bearish. So I'm of the opinion that we're going back down to here and about the 149-ish area, 149, 149.50. And again, I think that candle is probably tradable. I always put a caveat on tomorrow morning trading those bars because the market could well gap, and I want to see some price action post that gap if it were to be the case before I committed myself to trading this. But any pullback here, I think, is definitely a selling opportunity on pound yen. And very, very similarly, pound US dollar. We're already in this, trading the UK Open breakout from Thursday. But I think there's probably another, if not better, opportunity. The daily chart showing me clearly that we have a false break on our hands of that area there. Also of the monthly pivot. We've been above it, we've consolidated, we've come back below it. Any retest bar here on the daily chart looks like a sell to me. The one thing that is a bit of an issue, the most dominant chart pattern that I see on this monthly chart is a double bottom, which suggests that we're looking for a higher low. And I'm okay with that because we've got plenty of room to trade this down to here. There's a long, long way between where we'd want to enter the market, which is here. And we're talking about 500 pips by the time we get to that level. So it does look to be in a fairly wide range. Early days, double bottom, double top. That suggests to me that we're going to see more price action in this area than outside that area. And that coincides with what we're trying to do here. And that is trade it short. So monthly chart, weekly chart, daily chart are all telling me that this is going short. Would love to see a pullback to that trend line and the monthly pivot in the next couple of days. And I think there's your selling opportunity on pound US dollar. So for me, that is my 2 cents worth for the week. But I do note that we've got the Fed coming up. In fact, I think there's 4. The Swiss, BOJ, the Fed, and Bank of England all coming up this week. We will attempt in Trading Buddies to trade the FOMC breakout, one of my favorite trades. 8 times a year that bobs up. And if you're in Trading Buddies on Wednesday in particular, I'll show you how that might play out. There you go, mate. That's me.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Interesting look at the markets across a number of different formats today. We've had Julian come in and talk macro markets. We've had Ash come in and talk data. We've had Ainslie on gold. We've had Shukri on the crypto. Interesting to see those fusion market accounts now 24 hours, 7 days on the cryptocurrencies. Ainslie back on oil, and now Geoff having a look at the technicals. Hope it's helped your trading for this week. Remember, stay calm and make good decisions. If you do that, it'll all work out for you. Take care. We'll see you guys next week for the Sunday market update with the Actions to Wealth trading team. See you then. Thank you.